How many sources are enough for a big feature story? Maybe 50?
Hi, my name is Ngozi.
Hi, my name is Damilare.
We're giving great answers to questions about journalism from the internet.
What is a scoop in journalism and how do you get it? A scoop essentially means a piece of information that is not out there yet and only one reporter gets it before every other person. And how do you get a scoop? Well, it depends, right? It depends on your relationship with your sources. If you've built sources over the years, you get to get like more scoops than every other reporter. I mean, if you're a young reporter, you don't have to beat yourself up. You are likely not going to get as many scoops as the senior reporters because, again, it takes years to build network and to build like sources that will trust you and also believe that you can do well with the scoops that you get.
So, how do you decide which story is newsworthy and how far are journalists willing to go to pursue it? Well, as the name describes, like news is any detail that's new information that matters to people. So story is newsworthy if it's new information and if it has significant consequences on a sector of people, right? So if a story is important and to certain people, it is newsworthy. If it's new information that people would want to know, it is newsworthy. Also, if it's just about something that connects with people or can evoke emotion and it's happening now, or it's a timely time to reveal that detail, it's also newsworthy. How far are reporters willing to go to get news? Very, very far. You would know. Yeah. I would know. Well, as long as you don't cross the boundaries of ethics, right?
And I also think that it depends on how, the more you go in your career as a journalist, the more you keep leveling up what's newsworthy
and what's not.
That is worthy to be put out there. Some journalists, it's all about impact. If a story would not create a massive impact, it's not newsworthy to them. Some reporter, if it is just putting out information there, people have to know this. It doesn't have to change anything. Maybe if the story is out, maybe there will be new policies or people will just get this information. It depends, right, on the stage that you are in your career.
And also the target audience, which is people who matters to.
I keep seeing the word pitch in journalism Twitter. What does it mean? Pitch means the same thing everywhere, right? So it's you're trying to pitch your idea. You have an idea and you are trying to convince your editor or your publication at large so they can allow you to pursue that story, right? So essentially, when you start to pitch their investor, is the way we journalists also pitch our editor and our publication. So essentially, serious publication cannot put out a story that's going to be pitched, except it's very urgent story that everybody is starting. We don't have to pitch this one. You just have to roll with it.
How do journalists measure KPIs? There are two ways typically that we do it in newsrooms. There's quantity and there's quality. Quantity in terms of number of page views matter, number of impressions on social media that your story gets matter. Also, the amount of time people spend reading your story. Do they stop reading the first paragraph or do they read through to the end? That also matters, right? Because the newsrooms need to make money and these numbers actually help when they sell to advertisers. Right? There's quality. Some stories don't get as much numbers, don't get as much click-through rates, but they are important, relevant stories that have to be told. So it's how to measure KPIs.
So I honestly think KPI is weird in journalism. KPI is weird. So also it depends on the publication. So publication don't want to make money from their work. But it was great impact, right? So when they are setting their KPIs, they're setting that, we want this story that we're writing to create change, right? At the end of the year, we want the court proceedings to quote our stories. When policies, when they are debating policies, we want our stories to be at the front lines. We don't really care about page views or readership, but we want impact, right? So KPIs depends. It doesn't have to be you're trying to make money or anything. Just also what matters, how many stories are you doing in a month, in a week, right? They also have all of those things, right? Some journalists they do 10 stories a week. Some journalists don't even do any, right? So, it all depends on the publication. What usually happens when a journalist publishes a negative story that goes viral? So there's a lot of misconception in this aspect. Like, people think journalists are always out for negative stories. But the most important thing is that when stories like this go out, they are not negative, but they are critical stories. That's the way I would put it. Like, critical stories that are holding a particular authoritative figure or figure of authority into, like, you want them to account for a particular thing, into accountability, or like, it's just like stories that sort of like shed light on how bad someone has been behaving, or things that have been happening that shouldn't be happening to some set of people, right? It tends to turn negative, but they are like critical stories that needed to be told, right? So what happens when they go viral is, one thing, I'm going to do in answering this thing, journalists start building credibility and also like clout, right? People start hating that journalist, and I think at a certain degree, people need to hate you as journalists, because when you are asking hard questions, right, you are going to piss some people off. And when you start pissing some people off, just know that you are at that stage of a career that you are asking hard, critical questions that will build up to make a story that people will term negative, right? But they are not negative. I'm talking to reporters now. They are not negative. They are critical, right? But what is important is that as long as you are following all the ethics of journalism in all the stories, you're asking the right questions, you are not adding or cutting and sewing, you are reporting what you've found, what you've discovered, right? And also you have a lot of sources, you have, records to back it up. There's so many instances, especially in the tech reporting scene now. We have so many, like a lot of founders or a lot of like subject really tech reporters now. I'm just going to end there, but again, when these stories go viral, it's good for the publication, it's good for the reporter, and it's really bad for the bad actors.
I want to add also that some specific things that happen to the newsroom could be the subjects threatening legal action, right? They want to have the story taken down, and they often involve lawyers and suits to come and tell the newsroom why the story should not be up anymore, right? Or they threaten to sue the company. Then for the reporter, they often cyberbullying, right? That's like another thing that happens to the reporter. And it's just like what he said.
I've been wondering how AI will affect journalism. Are journalists safe? I think AI is actually coming for a lot of jobs, and it depends on how you approach, this novel technology. For journalists, right, the way we observe AI is that it's going to help us in our job than take our job, because journalism is too serious for you to leave it to AI to handle, right? AI is currently not accurate, and it's not 100% accurate, and you want your journalism, your piece of work to be 100% accurate. Like, you cannot generate an entire story using generative AI of anything, right? But what you can do is to allow, for instance, we've been using AI since forever. Grammarly is AI, essentially. Like, journalists have been using Grammarly for years. But can you relegate human being from journalism and now allow AI to take charge? I think no. I honestly think that cannot happen. There's no world that would happen. I might be a little bit myopic, but thinking about it, just been adding common sense. It just doesn't make any sense for us to allow AI to source for news, to write news, to fact check news, to do all of those things that we do, to edit news, and also, like, to be, sometimes you have to be authentic, sometimes you have to be stern, sometimes you have to, all of those things you need to bring into your story. Good luck to the next person who's going to train that AI to do that.
Also, I feel like the very big point is that AI cannot source news. An actual person has to source news, has to meet people in organizations, has to meet subjects of news matter to actually find detail that's relevant. Also, there's like critical thinking and there's emotional intelligence, which AI doesn't actually have right now. So for maybe translation, transcription, all these regular repetitive tasks that we do.
It's not going to take our job. It's just making our job easy and faster. Not easy, actually, but quicker.
Quicker.
If you, as a journalist, don't know how to use AI tools that you actually need in your work, like doing your work, your job is at risk, right? Because there will be so much efficiency, there's speed. Because again, journalists will live and die by deadlines, and sometimes AI would help you to reach your deadline faster, quicker, and just make your job really quick, efficient, and sometimes accurate as well. So if you don't equip yourself to be able to leverage all these tools, then your job is at risk.
What is tech journalism? And do you need to be a tech bro to become a tech journalist? Well, I'm a tech reporter and I don't know a tech role. So you don't see a tech role to become a reporter. But then what is tech journalism? It's reporting that focuses on what happens in the tech ecosystem. People will use technology, who will make it, who will invest in it, who will also regulate it. So every kind of like news surrounding that area, like the tech sector, is tech journalism, right? I sometimes often see myself wishing I had some experience in a tech, company, because that would give me a lot more context, especially in operations, because we do a lot of reporting on companies' finances, business models. So I feel like if I were a person who had worked for in a tech company, I would know a bit more or have more context into how these things work. But then it's not really something to put yourself over, because if you're curious enough, you can always ask questions, and with the right people, you can actually make things work.
I was a tech bro, actually. I was a tech.
He's like,
sure, yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was a tech bro.
Oh, okay.
I've been interested in tech journalism for a while now, and I'm just now starting to get some connections and writing some articles. I have a background in computer science. I'm currently working in the industry. Is there a way to be able to do this full time? Are there any full-time tech journalists here who can provide me with a little more clarity as to how to get my work out there, what the job is actually like, etc.? Well, essentially, this person is asking, how do I become a tech journalist? I started out working with tech startups, like helping them with communications and whatnot. And I just decided to go from shortly into journalism. And, because I did computer science in school, and I also I worked on startups, so I just realized, let me just do tech journalism instead of doing development or entertainment or arts or anything. The most important thing is interest, right? What do you have an idea? You already have an existing idea about tech, right? But you want to write about it. So all you need to do now is to continue writing. You've already started writing, just continue writing, and now start looking for opportunities in that space, in the tech, publication that you write to them, tell them you want to write for them as an intern, or if you're looking to add to their, pool of journalists you want to also, or you can even freelance, contribute. So you just build your portfolio. Once you build your portfolio, you can easily apply for a job with other publication, or you can even create your own table, right? I know so many reporters who got into this industry by just creating their own table, and people just go meet them. Hey, you do this. We're looking for someone who's doing this. Can you join us? So and you become a table reporter. Essentially, I don't get into anything. Create your own table. If there's no table for you, just make sure that you have some money to survive before money start coming.
Which is more important for tech journalists, a background in technology or in journalism? I would say it's in journalism. Having a background in technology would actually give you interesting insight and context into the people you're reporting and the business models, users, investors, how the tech actually works, right? But there are different kinds of technology, and you can't have backgrounds in all of them, can you? And also, these things actually change and develop very rapidly. So, but a background in journalism is like a constant guiding light that can help you navigate the terrain of the sector. Even if the tech changes, there's AI today, Web3 tomorrow. If you have a background in journalism, you'd have the much needed curiosity, persistence that you need to get these stories from different sectors from the right people.
How many sources are enough for a big feature story? Maybe 50? I mean, it depends. If it's big, it also depends on the stories and things you're trying to achieve. If it's a very deep investigative piece where a lot of people are looking different things, right? You want to establish a fact. And to establish a fact, you need to speak to many people so that you don't get in trouble, right? But if it's not a big feature story, or it's not sensitive, or it's not really dance, you can talk to as many as 10, 15. But if it is big, also with publication, we pride ourselves in going really deep, talking to a lot of people, getting all the facts, and making sure that we are stating the facts, right? So, yeah, I'll say 50 apples. So 50 apples. But, for time and also for scope, maybe 14. We can take that.
I wouldn't say that much. I personally would say it depends on the quality of the sources. right? If the sources have like skin in the game, if they're people who are directly involved in the story and they are highly placed individuals who have much to lose by giving you the wrong information or, that kind of thing, you could do with 5 sources, I think. Do you need a journalism degree to become a successful journalist? No, you don't. You just need good writing skills and a lot of curiosity. That's it. Since anyone can call themselves a journalist these days, how do you even differentiate between a blogger and a journalist? Well, bloggers do not often take as much care to verify their sources. In newsrooms, reporters, journalists take fact-checking very, very seriously because they are aware of the consequences that their stories can have on businesses, on people. So they take fact-checking very seriously. And also, bloggers often tend to report information or stories with their own biases or, their own emotions are obvious in the stories and they play on biases of people. But reporters and journalists, they try to be as objective as possible.
You don't need to try to think about this entire dynamics that bloggers to some extent even get most of the scoops. They get more scoops sometimes than actual journalists. But what sets you aside is that when you get the scoops, what do you do with it? So journalists do well with the scoop than bloggers. Bloggers just throw it out there. They don't want to care. They don't want to talk to anybody. Once they get it, it's a gist to them. And they thrive on gist. Journalists don't thrive on gist. We thrive on reporting. Actual reporting that is also the ethic of journalism. What are the basic technical skills of journalism? Because we have a different type of journalism. We have broadcast journalism where someone will stand like what we're doing now, standing in front of camera and talk and report. We have journalists that are writers who only write articles and stories. And we have podcasters who only just speak to the mic and you only listen to their voice. So all of these things, what is really important is sourcing news and also identify what's newsworthy is a skill in itself, and also fact checking. A lot of newsroom have their own fact checking team. Or as a reporter, you need to know how to fact check your sources and also some of the things that you will possible. Fact checking is the technical skills, how to verify stories, verify pictures, verify voice. I mean, also AI is in the mix now that can help you. So I think the most basic, right, source, quotes, all of these things. And how do you edit? Do you know structural editing? Do you know copy editing? Also to understand the voice and the tonality of a publication. And all of those things are technical skills that I need to have.
Do tech journalists even sleep? Since you're always online. Yes, I'm always online. I'm always trying to look for people to speak for a story. And that takes a lot of time. Research for primary sources takes plenty of time. People will say stalking, but yeah, whenever I'm not online looking for people, I'm offline trying to meet people at, restaurants, bars, or parties to build trust with, sources. I can't see them during work hours because they are busy at their day jobs and I have to not keep, these odd hours outside work to get to meet these people, and it takes time. You can't do it just only one day, 1 week. You have to do it consistently to have a really good quality source network. And yes, that robs you of your sleep.
Is journalism dying? Wait, so I understand this question. I'm going to answer it in this. So the first one is are we using journalism as a career? Is it dying? Is it going into extinction? I think not. It's not possible. You need journalists to hold people to accountability. And we cannot live without that. So journalism cannot die. What can happen to journalism is that it evolves, right? You will see that most of the time we could only read stories in paper. The news, you see, they throw it in front of your house. After your dad finished drinking, you pick it up as well. And now we started reading from our phone, from our tab, from our laptop, right? And now journalism is not just about writing, it's about podcasting. It's about video and all of that. So it will evolve, right? Sometimes, maybe because of all this new technology, meta AI and all of that, you probably do wear glasses, right? You get confused, right? That's important. So, but there will still be people, there will still be journalists, there will still be the active journalism. It cannot die. The second way I understand this question is, she keep person. Like journalism itself as a career, is it hard? Is it difficult? Does it take toll like on you as a person? Answer is yes, right? Now that it's difficult to talk to people. People don't want to talk to you, right? Especially like in Africa, in Nigeria, right? People don't want to talk. It's hard to get people to talk, right? And you want to talk to yourself, and they say, "How much you give me?" Bro, I'm a journalist. I'm not a government worker. I'm not doing sharing narrative. So it's hard to let people understand why they must talk to me. It's hard to let people understand why they should talk to you.
Well, as a career, of course, like across the world, like there are less reporters, like, positions. Like if you've been following the news, like several newsrooms have been laying off reporters, right? Because they are not able to sustain their businesses with either subscription models or paywalls or adverts, right? Some shut down completely these newsrooms, right? So it makes sense, like, to see while you're asking whether like the career, whether like it's like, it's going extinct. Well, I see why, but I think that there's hope anyway. Also, there's another angle to this where you might wonder, as a profession, like I read an article, someone asked if the swagger that reporters used to carry themselves with, if it's dying, right? And there's actually a point there saying that when a reporter put the story out about a powerful person, they are being barraged with lawyers trying to discredit them, take the story down, and you see people that are now reporting stories with like some caution that hasn't been, that's unusual of reporters, like in the past, being more careful with languages, and you may be asking, like, is the career losing substance as we try to become more moderate and less blunt? Well, it's happening, but there's still hope. Yes. Journalists in the house, rate your mental health and your physical health on a scale of 1 to 10. Mental health, since I began this job, it wasn't that great before, but now it's like when it's to speak, it's like, it's like not good. 1 to 10 mentally, I won a 5.3. My physical health, I'll say an 8. I'm still working out though. Make it like a 10.
My mental health, to be honest, I really don't understand what that is, to be honest. Like, it's not even, it's not because I do not have or because I have. I never thought about it. I'm a very happy child. So I don't have anything into recruitment. It's not that I need. I'm not even a job. I will still enjoy my life. I will still do things that I love to do. I will still do all of these things. So the fact that I can create time to do all the things that I love, my mental health is like intact. But will I rate it? I don't think so. But it's just health. My mental is health. Physical health, 0. I hate physical stuff. I hate sweat. So I would rate myself as maybe 6. Because I can still 6. Physical health, 6 over 10. Yeah.
What challenges have you had to navigate as an international reporter?
For me, it's mostly language barrier.
I feel like mostly payments, like paying for stuff in other currencies, right? But that has changed like a lot more now with Visa cards, cool cards.
Grey8 Answers is powered by Grey. With Grey, you can open a UK, US, and EU bank account from your phone or laptop for free. Receive, send, exchange, and manage multiple currencies, including stable coins, and get a virtual dollar card all in one app. Visit grey.co to get started for free.